Welcome back to Hearthstone Fun Time with Derek Brown. We've got one match for you to finish off the day, and it's going to be Shaxy versus SamuelTsao. Let's check out the decks we're going to be having all the fun with. Shaxy on the Burgle Rogue once again. As we said at the start of this weekend, this week is going to be the story of the Rogue and how it can do in a lot of matchups. And honestly, I am very impressed with this deck. Even the series in which the Rogue player has lost, there has been many potential different outcomes because there are just so many plays you can make to impact the game. I think this deck is very strong, and we will see this until the expansion happens.
I agree. I think that Rogue is in a fantastic spot at the moment. Even if you just factor in the Triforce at the moment, as I believe you called it, of Warrior, Mage, Rogue, I think Rogue has the kind of the best overall lining up against the other two classes. And when you factor in Hunter as well, I think Mage gets, Rogue gets even better because it has a decent matchup against the Hunter, whereas the Mage and Warrior do not. So for Shaxy here, standard stuff. We've seen it time and time again. Nothing too surprising here. SamuelTsao on the other side on his Hunter. It's also pretty standard stuff. This is just Hunter.
Yeah, that's it. Fun time with Derek. But yeah, the mid-range Hunter, nothing too crazy. The one thing that sticks out for me, which I feel is the most common deck building decision, and also I think the highest impact in games, is whether it's 1 or 2 scale hides. Actually, and SamuelTsao playing 2 is my preferred style, because I just think whenever you can scale hide Dire Frenzy in almost any matchup, it's good. Because also, not only is the heal good and the minions cheap, it's the health of the minion. It ends up being a 4/6. Like that's just a good size minion in general Hearthstone terms.
This is so close to the perfect deck as well. It's only one card off of just being 15 2-offs, which is that makes me happy. I was playing a Ball Control, I don't know if Ball Control made it, but an aggro shaman deck he was playing, which was just no legendaries, 15 2-offs, good cards, hit your opponent. Makes me happy.
That's just, it feels like a good deck, but if you're going to make that sacrifice for not every single slot being a 2-of, you make it for Zul'jin. Because
that's fair enough.
That card,
I'll grant you that.
Its played win rate must be, I'll say, rather large.
I would have to agree with you there. I think it's going to be, well, it's one of those cards that you usually just play it when you're winning anyway, right? And it just like locks out the game. But yeah,
you play it when you're losing, and sometimes it locks out the game too, which is what makes it very powerful.
Very true. Once again, though, however, with respect to how this changes up playoffs, it does not at all. Shaxy is guaranteed first seed. He's obviously guaranteed playoffs at 10 wins at this point, but he's also guaranteed first spot, which gets him a bye going into going into next week when playoffs are a thing. SamuelTsao obviously cannot get into playoffs. We have that locked out now already with our top 3 competitors. So it is purely a case of the pride and a little bit of prize when it comes with each win.
And it's just something to remind you guys of as well, because the format is long and maybe unclear at times, but playoffs, which is the top 3 from each division, go together to fight it out to get a spot at the global finals. That is next weekend here. It will still be us 2. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's your decision to make. But it'll be me and Derek bringing you the Asia Pacific playoffs next weekend, same time, same place. So make sure to tune in, because that is where effectively a world spot will be decided for the Asia Pacific region. And that is one of the players you're going to be seeing in that playoff on the top. It is Shaxy on a 10-3 score. And I think if I was Shaxy, even though I'm already through, I would still really want to win this match, because you want to be the one who's like, I demolished my division in GM. I went 11-3, and funnily enough, 2 of those losses were to Tyler, who is also top 3'd. So, when you frame it like that, you're like, wow, like he lost 2 out of 3 losses were to someone else who got top 3 out of 8. That is very impressive.
Shaxy's been playing some good Hearthstone. He's been playing some cool Hearthstone as well. I think he's shown a willingness to get creative, whereas some of the players have been a little bit more,
reserved.
Reserved, exactly. They've been wanting to stick with what they know is good, which is not bad at all. You're here to win. You want to play whatever you think is best. But I think Shaxy has demonstrated that one of the things that is best in GM at the moment is unpredictability. Yeah,
and even some of the decks he's brought, even when I've been casting them from early on in GM, I've been like, I'm not sure what this deck does. And if you don't know what the deck's supposed to do, you don't really know how to beat it most of the time either, apart from close your eyes and hold on. And that is scary, right? If I was a GM player and I saw the list, I'm like, wait, what? What? because you have to respect that someone's going to not submit a really bad list that has a terrible form in practice. I would be terrified if I played against Shaxy and he brought this really like a random list I've not seen before.
Oh, I still remember that. That was one of my biggest delights in Hearthstone was, Microtech controller, was whenever Rage, before he got his internship at Blizzard, he'd post a new deck list, and every time he posted it, I'd literally spend like 10 minutes staring at it going, honestly, how does this win?
Yeah, I don't know what this deck does.
Just hit rank 1 legend, you know, no big deal. And it'd always be like, you know, a 50-card OTK paladin or something like that. And it was confusing in the best of ways.
I can only dream of being able to understand the fundamentals of the game to that level, because I do not. I have to learn, read, ask people, and do everything humanly possible to understand this game, whereas some people just look at it and be like, oh yeah, it's just that. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever.
Rage was on another plane.
Yeah, let's get into this game though. And Hoffa being down, and I would say, I'll say uncontested. I don't mean that literally, of course, but I think having it be able to sit on the board and get 1 to 2 attacks and is actually so big for this matchup.
It's huge. This is where we've seen the rogues struggle, is that when they don't have the removal early on for Animal Companion, things go wrong. When this happens, things go very wrong. Dire Frenzy able to come down next turn means, oh, pick your poison, Shaxy. These are literally the 2 worst minions for Shaxy to have Dire Frenzy on. Literally the worst in the deck.
Agreed.
Like, Huffa has to be worse, right? Like, if Huffa gets Dire Frenzied, you just die.
Yeah, Huffa's worse at this spot in the game. Yeah. Not in general necessarily, but because SamuelTsao is ahead and Shaxy is very behind on board, Huffa's worse. If Shaxy was at least even on board, I actually think Scalehide would be worse, because it not only can trade better, but it also heals. So it means any damage that Shaxy pushes gets negated. But I do like this play.
I think he has to kill off the Huffa, because obviously he doesn't even know a Dire Frenzy is there. At the moment, all he's thinking is, good lord, this pig hurts.
This is the this would be the quickest Dire Frenzy I probably would ever play. And SamuelTsao taking his time.
You don't have to go for it here. Like, we could see Mark Shot. That's not very good, though.
But you have Master's Call, Mr. Derek. Yeah. Like, Dire Frenzy into Master's Call is...
I would go for it, too.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Like, Mark Shot, great. You killed the 3-3 and you've got a 1-1. Dire Frenzy...
Push face.
Get him.
And maybe you trade.
No.
No, you push face.
No, you push face.
Yeah.
Sammy?
Sammy T?
Yep. Aim it to the noggin. Good job, friend. So
he found it.
This just puts Shaxy under more pressure, because either way, if the trade happened, Shaxy has to tank an extra 4 damage with the dagger, just on board. And if that doesn't happen, well, then there's removal, and then either way, you can push damage. And I don't think SamuelTsao should really care about this SI7 agent at all.
Not at all.
It may as well not exist.
That SI. What SI7 agent?
Oh, I like it.
Like what?
Don't know.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm literally clueless.
Fun Hearthstone time. That's what I like, Darren.
I like fun Hearthstone time too.
No, if Shaxy's got weapon, you know, get that Waggle Pick equipped. It does very cleanly kill the Scalehide, but he's on 13 health, and SamuelTsao going to press that Master's Call and be like, haha.
He's just getting beat.
He could go Animal Comp Hero Power if he's confident in the Huffa gods.
It's worked out so far.
It wouldn't be terrible. Master's Call is better when you have more mana to follow up with on the same turn.
I think it's probably better.
Oh, Beast of Wrath, let's go.
Oh, Master's Call.
What? When are you playing 2 Master's Calls in this game? You just kill them.
I don't know. Like, you never lose, right? If you... They're both... yeah, I don't know. I see Master's Call, I pick Master's Call. It's insane, right? And when you have the buffed up Scalehides in your deck, you never die if you do that.
But 2 extra damage for 1 mana. Good job, Sammy.
Fair enough.
It's just too good, right? Like, look at the following turns. They're insane.
What if
you have
he runs
Unleash.
out of value, though?
What?
I don't know. Rogue
What
could
if
do gross
what
stuff.
if Shaxy runs out of life? Is my question.
Yeah, I guess.
You have Unleash, which is guaranteed use for that Bestial Wrath.
Master's Call can get you more damage too. It can find Rhinos and Timberwolves.
Who wants to spend 5 mana on a minion that deals 2 damage, Derek?
I'm just offering my opinion.
Well, your opinion is wrong. In this circumstance, it's wrong.
We get some capital D colons for Derek and Chad.
5 mana Tundra Rhino is 5 mana for 2 damage.
Timberwolf's good.
Bestial
right?
Wrath is 1 mana for 2 damage, Derek, and that means you can hero power.
Why you have to be mad? It's on
Just
the
a game.
game.
Truly has stepped over into Funtime Hearthstone.
Fair enough.
They definitely should have put this match before Glorious. let's just be honest and throw that out there.
Oh. Shaxy says, you know what? Your kill command's good. Mine's even better. He has 2 beasts in play. That kill command was the nuts.
So, Unleash Bestial Wrath is 3, 5, 7. Puts your opponent to 5. I like that. Well, actually, I like any play that involves SamuelTsao pressing hero power this turn.
And pushing everything face.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Now, this is fine as long as SamuelTsao presses hero power. Oh, Timberwolf. Oh, Spring Palm, just naming cards now.
Oh, look there. He didn't draw a scale hide. If only he had a way to draw 3 more beasts from his deck. Wouldn't that be useful right now?
No!
Oh, what a shame.
Look at all the damage!
Oh, God.
Shut up, Derek.
Such an unfortunate scenario for SamuelTsao here in this game of Hearthstone he's playing.
I used to think you were a good caster. Till about 60 seconds ago.
Joke's on you.
Played you.
I've sucked the whole time.
You didn't even realize. Oh, okay, I like it, yes. Yeah, as long as SamuelTsao pressed hero power this turn, then Unleash, Timberwolf, GG.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Bestial Wrath could be the game-winning card here, I'm just I mean, there's nothing. And we can see there's nothing Shaxy can do.
Yeah, Hunter doesn't have any healing, right? You can't get that off of a Blink Fox.
No.
It has it has none. Scale Hiders is only 4. I mean, Zul'jin gains armor.
I guess.
I'm of course talking about swing with the pick and then play another Life Drinker, another Blink Fox.
So in that case, is Hench Clan better? Well, Shaxy's just going for like strictly the best rogue play.
And strictly the best rogue play is strictly dead.
That's going to be it for game number 1. SamuelTsao is going to lock it up, and ha! There's a scale hide.
Don't I look quite the fool?
Yes. Timberwolf, unleash those hounds, and even just the hero power will get the job done. So, wow, that Huffer just escalated this game out of control for SamuelTsao. That did so much damage, and then just having the Dire Frenzy as a quick follow-up just pushed the game over the edge. Shaxy could not respond.
He could not. He got hit for 4 damage 3 times, and then he got hit for 4 damage 2 times, and then he died. There was nothing he could have done there, I don't think.
No, and that was just how, like, although it's a good matchup for Rogue, saying that matchup's good does not mean it wins every single time. And Hunter and Huffer, most importantly, can get some work done. We're just going to step away for a minute while we set up the next game and see what decks the players are going to change to. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Darker than they've ever been. As evil descends from the skies, the world cries out, how will we survive? Out of the hall of explorers, and up from the dusty tomb. They grab their whips and fedoras. These legends of the past know exactly what to do.
大家好，我是曹祖林，然后我炉石的 ID 是 SamuelTsao，然后大家可以追随我的 Facebook 粉丝专页。亚太区我最喜欢的选手就是那个汤，去年的世界冠军。我相信只要是台湾人最喜欢的选手都会是他。然后如果是整个大师赛的话，应该是刚刚拿下世界冠军的 Hunter， 因为我之前也有好几次跟他交手的经验，感觉自己跟他是有差距的。他真的是很厉害的选手。对我影响最深刻的牌组应该是之前的快攻萨满，因为那时候算是我刚开始想要打炉石电竞，然后刚开始希望打进季后赛的时候，然后那时候我天梯都是使用这套牌，然后也是因为我天梯那时候只够组出这套牌，所以我就一直玩。后来比赛也会带这个，然后它帮助我赢了很多比赛。希望大家可以支持我，多看我比赛，然后多看台湾人的比赛。希望下一个世界冠军也是我们，也是台湾人。
We are back and ready to continue with this series. Shaxy versus SamuelTsao, the last match of the day, and to a certain extent, the last match of the Grandmasters League, because next week is playoffs.
That's true. For Asia Pacific, at least, we obviously have Europe and Americas left afterwards, but I agree.
Whatever.
Actually, I probably shouldn't say that. I mean, they are fantastic regions as well, but APAC's the best, let's be honest.
Fantastic regions, but fantastic casters over here.
Yes.
Anyway, let's check out SamuelTsao's list and what he has changed to while we bail quickly on that and wait for a few hours before we get our responses from the other casters. So SamuelTsao has moved over to his tertiary list, not too much of a surprise. We see, I think every single Hunter player this week has favored Rat Trap quite greatly, especially versus Rogue. And that Wing Blast is nice because it just kills a Rogue minion for cheap, which I can get behind.
Yes, we've seen consistently that when Rat Trap is hit on 2, the games are drastically warped. Like, just because a lot of cards have impact because they're powerful, but their opponent doesn't really play around them that much because, like, they're there. You just do the best thing you can. Rat Trap, it's so clear in the games where it comes down that their opponent cannot do anything they want to. It's just so obvious that the Rogue is in a miserable position because unless they get an absurd hand with Backstab and Vendetta to kill it off or a Sap to get rid of the Rat Trap early on, they can't do anything.
Yeah, and there's one thing to know that's a slight difference between SamuelTsao and a few of the other Hunters, is there's no Rat Trap and Snake Trap involved.
That's true.
Which means that there's no guessing game for Shaxy to play. It's if a secret is played and it is not from a Shimmer Fly or any other Discover effect, which he will know, then it's 100% Rat Trap 100% of the time. So then Shaxy's only thing he has to consider is how, if, when, and why to play around it.
Yes, which is kind of an advantage for Shaxy, I would say, overall. But when you have one of each, then the fact that it's less likely to be Rat Trap is often good for the Rogue, because Rat Trap is the worst one, I would say, by quite a large margin. But yes, that switch for SamuelTsao will definitely help things out for him, which is good, because he's already 1-0 up.
It is, and this is one of the benefits, and you've got to look at this, right? Both players, obviously, primary deck game 1. The unfavored player wins and then gets to switch to a slightly more favored list, and Shaxy does not, which means just the overwhelming advantage from winning game number 1 as the less favored player escalates quite a lot, right? It jumps massively because not only did he win, he has the option to change into a slightly better deck.
SamuelTsao holding on to the Master's Call here, which you've gone on record as saying is the worst card in Hearthstone that you would never ever put in your deck. How do you feel about that?
About the same way I feel about you being a massive liar, Derek. Horrified. Horrifying. It's actually the best card in the deck. Rat Trap into Master's Call is probably as good an opening as you can get with this deck against specifically Rogue.
Against, like, specifically this hand, I would say, like, in general, maybe an Animal Companion would be better, but given that he has Fox into Vendetta, I agree this is the dream.
And here we go. I'll be shocked. SamuelTsao's taking his time, of course, which is completely reasonable. And I say taking his time, it's nothing compared to some other players, just a few seconds. But the Master's Call, just look at his options now, and suddenly, not only is it options in hand, it increases the likelihood of drawing spells from the deck, and those spells like Kill Command, Animal Companion, other removal, Dire Frenzy, Unleash, like it just one Master's Call opens up so many more options for the Hunter, it's insane.
It really does. Shaxy there presented with an interesting decision, and something that I hadn't really thought about all too much when playing Rat Trap is that shadow stepping the Miscreant there was not that good, to be perfectly honest. You'd rather have it in play to attack face. But if it's possible to, if he wanted to do it at any point in the future, maybe it was better to do it now, because by doing 2 things this turn, it means he could do 1 more thing on the following turn without activating Rat Trap.
Yeah.
Because he could then just go for player Lackey plus the cheaper Miscreant.
I'm going to put forward a strange question. Does a Miscreant...
Does this look like a boil or a mole to you?
No. Does Shadow Stepping Miscreant just become less of a priority when you're against Rat Trap? Because Miscreant creates a lot of 1-drops.
That's fair.
And maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you alter your play and prioritize other minions over doing the 18,000 Lackey plays that rogues do, because you will prot that Rat Trap and there's no sapping hand. I don't know. It's not strictly the case because there's a Vendetta there, but maybe.
I think what he did was still correct. I wouldn't have liked, I think, to see the Shadow Step there, because like you said, 1, he's not bereft of options at all. He has many, many plays that he can make here. And also, he still... like you said, it's not that important for him to do. He doesn't necessarily want to Shadow Step the Miscreant.
So... Oh, I think he procs it this turn, though.
Really?
Yes.
Well, how does it actually discreetly work out? Because if he goes Kobold Lackey, step the Kobold Lackey, he can't then activate the Rat Trap without playing it again first, and then he can't go Kobold Lackey Vendetta to kill it off. I think I like seeing it activated next turn, actually. Because he could just play another... He could just play the Miscreant here, right? Set up for an even better turn next turn.
I guess. I was just looking at trade. Bounce the Lackey, bounce the Miscreant, play the Miscreant, play a different Lackey, and then just Vendetta and Kobold.
I just want to see Edwin. The pop-off turn needs to be the Edwin turn, I think. Or it doesn't need to be, but I think it should. I think that's best.
Okay.
So I don't mind this at all from Shaxy. It's perfectly reasonable.
But this is leaning, at least not from hand, as not proccing the Rat next turn, right? Because the removal's minion-based. I mean, you can remove it with minions, obviously. It's not just immune to minion damage,
well,
but it's less natural.
Yeah, well, he could still just go, like, Cable Rat, step the Kobold Lackey.
Not if it lives.
If it lives, yeah, that's fair. I think it's fine, though. Like, I just want to see him play a lot of cards on the same turn he plays Edwin.
Okay. What about this turn? Unleash China.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at as the first...
If only there was a cheeky little Timberwolf that could be played as well. That would be insane.
If only SamuelTsao could throw on his Tims and go wreck it.
Oh, actually, people call me crazy.
Were you thinking he goes double Timberwolf all face?
Yeah.
I knew you were thinking that.
That's a lot of damage.
15 damage.
Like,
that's 15
so
damage.
much.
Yeah.
And your opponent, yes, has a wide board of 1 attack minions. Oh no.
Got the Forgotten Spirit though, which is a Death Rattle plus 1 attack, I believe, to all friendly minions.
Yep.
Which isn't bad.
My problem with this is 7 health is not that much health.
It's not that
when
much.
you leave 2 minions. So it's actually on 5 health, right? If you just... Oh, actually, it's on 4 health.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is...
Well, I don't think he was ever really expecting this to survive.
But then play 2 Timberwolves and go face then. I'm being serious. So much damage.
That is fair, actually.
You have bomb toss. Let's go.
I think that's not really his game plan at the moment, though, right? Because with Scalehide in hand, Zul'jin in hand, Master's Call in hand, his game plan is survive. I think if he gets to Zul'jin, he wins.
Okay.
And so, given that he has no animal companions, no kill commands in particular, the face plan is unlikely to work out very well. Shaxy still taking it nice and slow. Loosey-goosey.
Too soon.
And there we go.
Yeah, that's the dream.
Press the buttons that do the things. Like I said, Vicious Scale Hide often does not matter what the matchup is. If you make this on turn 6, you are having a good day.
He's having a great day.
Having a cracking day. Oh. So dangerous.
Did I just pull the box over? Sorry about that.
I'm trying to break the audio equipment, and what would the viewers do if they could not hear our voices, Derek? How would they survive?
Rejoice,
Yeah.
I would argue.
I was hoping for not that answer, but at least you're honest.
Yeah, well, remember, actually, because the broadcast will probably be over in half an hour, so I may well be watching you in Twitch chat, so tread lightly. Although I'm not actually a mod, so I can't do anything.
Are you a VIP?
You betcha. You're looking at the Vest IP you've ever seen. No, the highest.
I was going to say the veriest
important person.
Yeah. Good job, Derek. Good job. Stick to casting, mate.
It's not like you need words for that.
Okay, well, Master's Call following, the removal of Scale Hide a little bit annoying, but this is why you dive Frenzy into Master's Call in that order if possible.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the follow-up.
It's crazy. The options on this turn are endless.
Well, maybe a slower turn wouldn't be bad. Bomb Toss into Wing Blast. Maybe even say Wing Blast.
Wing Blast? Wing Blast, you've got to say, right?
Bomb Toss Hero Power.
Don't mind Bomb Toss Hero Power at all. I don't mind.
Because I feel like with Double Timberwolf, the Spring Paws, the Scale Hide is a flexible choice later, and a Hyena. You can make a pretty crazy board next turn.
Yeah.
And you leave the 1-1 up because if you're planning on trading off some Spring Paws.
What is SamuelTsao afraid of at this point? Given he's got himself in a good position, I think what he's afraid of is a massive Edwin.
Quickly.
Right? Because he doesn't have hard removal, and so by preloading stats onto the board, that does make it more easy to deal with an Edwin.
I feel like he kind of has hard removal. He has 2 Spring Paws, 2 Timberwolves, a Wing Blast, and a Scale Hide that's 4 attack.
Oh, I did not say a big Edwin. Perhaps you misheard me. I said a massive Edwin. If I wasn't on broadcast, I would add 2 words before that even to perfectly exemplify how
tell me
big
what 2.
that Edwin.
I'd guess 1. Can't guess the second.
Yeah.
Really?
A step off big Edwin.
Oh, right. I thought you were on about really, really massive Edwin.
Yeah, the V-est large Edwin you've ever seen.
On 7 mana, though?
Shark. He's got Shark, right? Or even just Shadow Step, right? I guess it's a turn away. It's a turn away from being, like, ludicrously big. I mean, it could still be nuts big this turn, right?
Would it be ludicrous speed big?
Too soon.
We've seen Spaceballs.
I haven't actually seen Space.
What?
I know, yeah.
Oh, you'd love it.
I can tell you. I've seen, like, clips of it.
Okay.
I'm aware of
I was
its
gonna say, you
existence.
do know it is
Yeah,
linked to Star Wars, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Because you would like it a lot. Kind of an underwhelming turn, isn't it?
It didn't have... yeah, I guess with the Rat Trap, Shaxy couldn't do a whole lot there. Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of getting to the point where Shaxy has to just bite the bullet, make a huge Edwin Shark play, but that's probably next.
Also, as well, Shaxy's lost the ability to easily deal with a rat from the trap. Because he used the Vendetta. You know, it's like he doesn't really have an easy way to kill it off. He doesn't have Sap, doesn't have another Vendetta, which helps massively. So now, if SamuelTsao makes the right kind of shape of board here, which I said with this turn he can do, this is looking a little bit spicy. Just double Timberwolf. Yeah, I like it. Let's go.
There's no real punish for this, right? You just want to go as wide on board as possible. Because it threatens damage to close out the game. And it also means that the one thing you are afraid of, which is overwhelming board presence, probably in the form of 1 huge Edwin, it's pretty much checked because you have so much damage on it.
Yeah, and most importantly, this looks kind of all in, but bear in mind, if Shaxy deals with all this, he probably plays 3 cards, which means a rat happens. Next
100%.
turn, at worst, SamuelTsao can Wing Blast for 4 mana, Rat Trap, and Hero Power, and then plays Zul'jin, which refills and solves all problems of the lack of resources in hand right now. This is a very, very strong setup from SamuelTsao.
It is indeed. Shaxy has to find something
that's
very strong in response.
That's a good point, though,
Betrayal's
right?
a good start.
Was positioning the critique we can throw SamuelTsao's way. Not playing around Betrayal.
Yes,
especially
did
because
not play around
especially because
Betrayal.
he had the bomb as well.
This was bad positioning, yes. I don't think it ever matters, honestly.
Which is why I'm saying if we're going to critique anything about that turn, it's the small things, right? But Shaxy did get a betrayal.
I mean, if it's impossible for it to matter, it's not a mistake, but I guess.
Choose silly.
Oh no, actually, yeah, with the rat as well. Yeah, that was just bad. Maybe it can matter with a prep being discovered as well.
The Shadow Step too.
Yeah.
Wow. Just as much as SamuelTsao had a fantastic turn, Shaxy's gone. Me too. I can also do good turns.
This was a pretty nutty turn. It clears off most of the damage from the board. He's not dead on the spot, but it is still just going to be difficult for him to wrestle back.
So he needs 6 damage here. Kill command would deal with this. No, he's not a kill command. But most importantly, that means he can clear off the shark and set up a fantastical Zul'jin.
Right, but from Shaxy, he does importantly have 1 turn before the Zul'jin comes down. He has a shark in play, he has 9 mana.
He wing blasts, right? So you can hero power?
Sure.
Like, I'm just saying, like, why not?
Yeah.
You Zul'jin next turn, get the extra 2 damage, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, no, with
trade the wolf, wing blast the 1/1,
deadly
deadly
shot.
shot.
The shark. Yeah, he doesn't have the shark. Yeah.
You can
That
hero
was
power
pretty
as well.
crucial for Shaxy, I think, to have any chance to have the shark in play. Because even just the deadly shot getting into the Zul'jin pool.
No, that's what I mean. It's
massive.
so sick to do this and get the hero power off and get the rat trap off. Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, this is.
I mean, this should spell the end.
I think it does.
Okay, Shaxy, go out with some flair. King Crush to the face.
Assert dominance.
Bum, bum. Ooh. Ooh, imagine.
Imagine
If there was a shark on the board right now. He'd heal a bit.
the
Wait, what
less
is the
well-known
4-mana
verse
card
to
next to
imagine
Betrayal?
by John Lennon.
And does it look bugged to you?
Does what look
The
bugged?
card next to Betrayal.
Oh, what wanted?
Oh, no, there we go. Okay, it looks
It's
better.
just golden effect. It did
Yeah,
look
yeah.
bugged for a second.
Because it looks like half of it's blue and
Yes,
half of it's
yeah,
that, but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
actually just because it's the corner of a wall. But it's just that the blue thing makes
did
it look weird.
yeah.
Well, none of those look good enough to me. Again. I will find this new rogue spell that saves me this game.
Yeah, obviously Vanish going out. I mean, Vanish wouldn't even really help him, but I guess it was his best shot.
Is he betraying his own minion? No, you can't. I was like, it just looked like it was aimed at the Ethereal. Imagine the triplets of the Ethereal Lackey, the one in the middle. It's like, no, screw you guys.
He's coming. Hello.
The barbershop quartet of the Ethereal Lackeys, led by Edwin Van Cleef. Mr. Sandman.
Hello. The Brotherhood shall prevail.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean,
that
there's
seems like the play on
there's
this
Unleash
turn.
in the pool.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
so
It's
much.
so often lethal this
Yeah.
turn.
Or at least sets up lethal next turn.
Yeah.
Call in some masters. Right, trap. Ooh, Die Frenzy a little bit
Wrong
fortunate.
order.
And
Hey, there we go.
boom! Gone.
What do you know?
Goodbye to Shaxy's hopes and dreams of winning this game. He's actually already qualified to the playoffs. His hopes and dreams are actually doing pretty well.
Yes, he's doing pretty good. All right, it's not over yet. SamuelTsao does not have lethal represented. He only has 5 cards left in his deck. Maybe he trackinged over the second Dire Frenzy with his tracking of Zul'jin there. And maybe Shaxy wins in Fatigue. Right? No?
I guess. Kill commands are still cards.
Yeah, and at this point, just like a Leok of the Animal Companion would be game over, right? Just to sacrifice in the Goblin Bronze.
And also even like these 2/4/6 lifesteals probably negate the fatigue by themselves at this point. There you go. So that's kill command. It's not over yet though because it did heal for 3.
I get 2 out of 3 times it's over
Yes.
now, right?
Is it over?
Is it ever guaranteed over? Can he kill off his own guy without the hero power?
Nope.
I guess not.
What I gonna do with
I mean, if he's got another kill command left, he may as well track, right?
There we
Unleash,
go.
there you go.
That's good.
That'll do it. And SamuelTsao takes down Shaxy 2-0. Does not matter for who gets through to the playoffs in Division B, but still a win is a win. SamuelTsao will finish up as 6-8, and Shaxy will go to 10-4. And you know what? Taking a win off someone who's dominated their division all league, not a bad way to any season.
I agree, and I think for SamuelTsao, you know what? Not that bad of a score.
Yeah.
Considering how bad things started off for him, he was right down at the bottom for a long portion. And, you know, even with some of the matches I was casting from him, where he was pretty staunchly sticking to his mech druid, his mech token druid, which I was not a particularly big fan of, he went 1-on-1 with it both weeks.
Yeah,
it was fine.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was a reasonable deck. Players have done worse than that with some other funky brings that are not in the top 4 classes at the moment. But it was a decent road for him, I would say. However, Shaxy, the man of the hour, finishing top of his Division B and looking to be in a great spot for playoffs next week.
Yeah, and it's of no real surprise, as we're going to look at the standings in a few minutes, but no real surprise to me that, you know, as we kind of edge towards the end of Asia Pacific Grandmasters next week, it's playoffs, that yes, the top 6 are going to be stacked because the 16 from the region are pretty stacked anyway. But I think with names like, you know, Tyler, like Surrender, Alutimu in this pool, and Shaxy, of course, it's looking almost like a self-selection of the players you would want in there. Maybe you look at names like Tom, who isn't making top 3 this time, and some people, viewers, might be a little bit disappointed, but they are making it to Season 2 anyway and have a second shot at it to be able to make it to Season 2 playoffs, which will then still potentially give them a spot in the global finals.
It will indeed. And there's also a couple of players, I would say, who were underdogs going into it. StazTsao, I would put into that group. I would say, obviously with his very large WESG win a few years ago at this point, which got him into the top prize money earners in Asia Pacific, which was how he qualified through to Grandmasters. Aside from that, he hasn't had all too much tournament performance, it's got to be said, but I think he stepped it up admirably. Especially in the last few weeks, I think the work has gone in and it's shown.
Yeah, it really has. And without further ado, let's check out the results. We pretty much told you what's going to happen, but let's take a look for these results of the day to recap. Tom 60229, 2-1 versus Frosty, and then Flurry taking the win over Surrender, and also Tyler. Wait, were all those matches 2-0s? It felt like they weren't, but I guess they were.
I guess they were. If there's one thing I can say about this day, Raven, it's that it was all right.
I get it. You are a genius. I won't even go there. But yes, it was a day of Rogue matches too. We saw Rogue take on most of the relevant meta matchups, and I think just do...
Well, 50-50.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it was just, did all right.
Yeah,
and I think that's one of the things with Rogue as well, is not only is it how you play Rogue, but it's how well your opponents know how to play against it as well. But let's take a look at the standings and see where we have ended our road.
This is it.
From Division A, we have Alutimu, Surrender, and StazTsao going to the playoffs next weekend. And then from Division B, we have Shaxy, Dawn, and Tyler, after a crazy day of the matches, flinging the scores left, right, and center. But those are our top 6 across Asia Pacific region, and I will just roughly outline. Playoffs next weekend is going to be those 6 players playing it out throughout a group bracket, effectively. To decide who is going to get a spot at the global finals. But for those 2 big names and portraits at the top there, they get a bye. So the reward for going first place in your division is you have to play 1 less match, which is very, very nice. And it might not sound like a lot with 1 less match, but trust me, people would kill for this. Like being 1 step further ahead in the tournament is insane for your chances to get a spot in the global finals.
It really is. And as you saw there, the second place of each region will play third place of the other region in the first match. Yes, we'll get our first cross-division matches, which will be very exciting as they've been refined to their singular division so far. We're going to see which division stacks are better. I'm not actually even sure which division I would say is the higher power level in terms of player overall. Like they're all so strong.
Yeah, personally, out of top 3s of who actually made it, I have to go with Alutimu, Surrender, StazTsao. I think mainly StazTsao has done a great job, like we talked about, but Alutimu and Surrender are just
Yes.
straight up
I
there
agree.
as far as I'm concerned. But we can check that out. Next week is going to be playoffs. It's going to be same time, same place. We will be here to bring you the action. But for this week, we are done. But the same's going to happen. The playoff spots are going to be decided for the other regions. So Europe's coming up next with Admirable and Sottle. And then Frodan and TJ will be bringing you the Americas final day as well a little bit later on. But from us, have a good night, and we'll see you next week.